So if you got your brand new shiny NDIS plan, well, this video is for you. Hey, I'm Alan. I'm an NDIS support coordinator and peer mentor. I help people every single day understand the systems that we're in. So yes, this is NDIS 101. I just wanted to run through some terms that you will hear every single time that you're talking to a provider, support coordinator, plan manager, all the important people that you're going to be working with when implementing your NDIS plan. So of course, terms you're going to hear every single day. Participant, well, that's you that's going to be using your plan. They don't call them clients, some people do, but generally in NDIS terms, everybody's called a participant. NDIS plan, well, that is the piece of paper that you got right in front of you, and of course you can see it online. That is the document that gives you all the information around the funding that you have been approved for, and of course all the rules that apply to your NDIS plan. Plan manager. A plan manager is somebody who pays your invoices. That's right. So there are three different styles of plans you can get. You can have self-managed, where you look after everything yourself. Plan managed, where you have somebody who pays the invoices for you and gives you that little bit of extra help to make sure that those invoices are done correctly. And of course, NDI managed. So NDI managed is when it's agency managed and it's a little bit more lockdown of the supports. But a plan manager basically is somebody who pays your invoices, and a plan manager, the fees and charges that are associated with that are incorporated in your plan, so you will not have to pay any out-of-pocket expenses to have a plan manager. Support coordinator, if you get a support coordinator included in your plan, you'll find that in the capacity building section. So really quick, a support coordinator is there to assist you, to link you to services, navigate the NDIS systems, and of course, be your contact to help you understand the whole process. Reasonable and necessary. This is one that gets thrown around all the time. Reasonable and necessary with NDIS. This is when the NDIS tests for funding decisions as well. Supports must be directly related to your disability and of course must be cost effective. And well, another term is value for money. The NDIS loves that term as well. They want to make sure that they're getting the most reasonable and of course cost effective approach. So of course, if you're going out to buy a certain, let's say wheelchair, if you can get like the mid-tier one rather than the high tier one, then of course they're going to fund the mid-tier one, and they're going to call that reasonable, necessary, and value for money. Now, if we get down into the different sections of the plan, you'll see core supports. That's the majority of where your funding will live, is underneath your core supports. That pays for things like your support workers, cleaners, and transport, and many other different things, Capacity building, well, that's funding is for support coordinators. That's where your occupational therapist funding comes from. That's where your speech and language pathologist funding comes from. There are many different categories that comes out of capacity building. Support workers, well, support workers are the people who come into your home and help you out every day, whether it's in your home or take you out in the community. NDIS budgets, that is something that you'll just get drilled into you every single day, is making sure that your NDIS budgets are going to meet your expectations, but of course going to meet the entire plan. Now that we have a thing called funding periods, where the NDIS will only release a certain amount of funding if you have funding periods. Now, not all people have that yet, but everybody will. Some people have 3-month funding periods, so they'll only give you a portion of your funding for that certain 3 months. After the 3 months, then they'll release more funding. That's okay. If your first funding period, you've still got funding, it will roll over onto your second funding period. It can get quite in depth, but just basically that's what a funding period is. Plan review, that is your opportunity where you'll have a conversation with your NDIS planner, your local area coordinator, who will go through everything that you need with your supports to make sure that they're going on. Your plan review is always what they call the time when you'll have a conversation with them. It's really important that you get ready for plan reviews, because this is when the NDIS will base on your next plan. Most people have plans 12 months, 24 months, or even 3 years as well. The big one I always encourage new participants to look at, it's a free download. It's called the NDIS Pricing Arrangements and Price Limits. Free download, you can jump on NDIS website and have a read of it. Yes, it is a very long and intimidating document, but if you break it down into the sections, you can find out the exact hourly rate that your supports are going to cost. For example, if you're receiving supports on a weekday, that's going to cost $70 and 23 cents per hour. Weekday nights, different price. Friday nights, different price. Saturday, different price. Sunday, different price again. And of course, public holidays, different prices again. So when you're working with your support coordinator or if you're doing it on your own, you really need to understand how much your services are going to cost. That way you can budget effectively. On average, I'm not saying on average, most people get around about 15 hours per week, some less, some more, it all depends. But you really want to make sure that your budgets are going to last the entire time. Now, with funding periods, you want to make sure that those budgets line up as well. So yes, there are a couple of real quick NDIS terms that you'll hear every day that you're dealing with NDIS, and I hope that helps. If you want to know more about NDIS, make sure you check out my links below. And of course, if you'd like to get in contact with me and work with me, all my contact details in the bio on my website.